What's up, familia? Welcome inside the Big Rig. Hope you guys are doing good. Keep in between the lines. Got your load secure. All right, man. Let's check out some of these scary trucker stories.
I had been driving for hours, with only the sound of the radio and the hum of the engine to keep me company. My eyes were getting heavy and my stomach was rumbling, so I decided to pull off the highway and take a break at the next rest stop. As I approached the rest stop, I noticed something was off. The usual buzz of activity that I had come to expect was missing, and the parking lot was nearly empty. I parked my truck and got out to stretch my legs, looking around to see if anyone else was there. But the place was eerily quiet, with only the sound of the wind rustling through the trees. I made my way towards the restrooms, hoping to find something to eat or drink. But as I got closer, I saw that the door was hanging.
Alright, now he said a rest stop. I don't know, rest stops aren't really like popping like that, Holmes. So I'm not really sure what he was really expecting. By the way, shout outs to Uncanny Saga, man.
Off its hinges, and the interior was in a state of disrepair. I cautiously stepped inside, my senses on high alert. That's when I heard the noises. It sounded like something was shuffling around in the shadows, but I couldn't see anything. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the darkness, and I jumped back in alarm. It was a homeless man, his eyes wild and his clothes in tatters. He was living in the restroom, and I could tell that he hadn't had a bath in a while. He started ranting and raving, and I could barely make out what he was saying. I backed up slowly, trying to keep my distance from the homeless man. His appearance was unnerving, with a tangled mass of hair and a beard that reached down to his chest. His clothes were filthy, and his skin was covered in dirt and grime. "What are you doing here?" I asked, trying to keep my tongue calm. The man continued to rant, his words slurring together. He gestured wildly, pointing towards the broken sinks and toilets. I started to back away, feeling uneasy. I wanted to leave the restroom and get back to my truck, but the man was blocking my way. I tried to reason with him, explaining that I just wanted to use the facilities and then be on my way, but the man wasn't having it. He continued to get more agitated, his eyes growing wider and his voice rising in pitch. I could tell he was becoming increasingly unpredictable, and I knew that I needed to get out of there fast. As I tried to edge my way past him, the man suddenly lunged towards me, grabbing onto my arm. I felt a jolt of fear run through me, unsure of what he was going to do. I struggled to break free, but he was surprisingly strong. "What do you want from me?" I yelled, trying to fight him off. The man didn't answer, just continued to grip my arm with a fierce intensity. I felt a surge of panic rising within me, unsure of how I was going to get out of this situation. But then, a sudden wave of calm washed over me. I remembered the self-defense training I had taken before becoming a truck driver, and I knew that I could handle myself if I needed to.
Alright, hang on a second, man. Wait a minute. So, this dude attacks you, and now you're remembering your self-defense training, that you can handle yourself if needed to? Ah, dog, I like his responses, man. Like, what do you want from me? It just sounds like such a, almost like a movie from the 80s or something.
Had taken before becoming a truck driver, and I knew that I could handle myself if I needed to. I took a deep breath and used all my strength to break free from the man's grip. He stumbled back, looking surprised at my sudden burst of strength. Without hesitation, I turned and ran out of the restroom, my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't look back, just kept running until I reached my truck. I climbed into the safety of my truck and locked the doors behind me, taking a moment to catch my breath. My mind was racing with what had just happened, and I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that lingered within me. I sat there for a few minutes, trying to calm my nerves, when I heard a knock on my window. I jumped in my seat, my heart racing once again. I cautiously rolled down the window, and to my surprise, it was the homeless man. He looked different now, almost apologetic. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice hoarse. "I didn't mean to scare you." I eyed him warily, unsure of what he wanted from me. But he continued to speak, explaining that he had been living in the rest stop for a while now, and he didn't mean any harm. "I just wanted someone to talk to," he said, his eyes pleading. I could see the desperation in his gaze, and I felt a twinge of sympathy for him. But at the same time, I couldn't help but feel uneasy around him. I hesitated for
Hey, man. If he just wants somebody to talk to, he's really got to work on his people skills, homie.
a moment before turning to face him. He looked defeated, like he had lost all hope. I could see the pain etched on his face, and it made me feel a pang of sympathy for him. "Why were you in there?" I asked him, my voice gentle. The man sighed heavily, his eyes downcast. "I didn't mean to scare you," he said. "I just don't have anywhere else to go. I've been living here for a while now, trying to stay out of trouble." I listened to him, trying to understand his situation. He explained that he had lost his job and his family had disowned him, leaving him with nowhere to turn. He had been surviving on the streets, scrounging for food and shelter wherever he could find it. I felt a sense of sadness for him, realizing that he was a victim of circumstances beyond his control. But at the same time, I knew that I couldn't let my guard down. He may have meant me no harm, but he was still a stranger. "I'm sorry," I said to him, "but I can't stay here. I have to get back on the road." The man nodded, looking down at his feet. "I understand," he said quietly. "I'm sorry for the trouble." I got back in my truck and drove away, feeling a mix of emotions. Part of me felt relieved to be leaving the rest stop behind, while another part of me felt guilty for leaving the homeless man behind. I wondered what would happen to him, and if he would be okay. As I continued down the highway, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The encounter with the homeless man had left me on edge, and I found myself constantly checking my rearview mirror, afraid that he would follow me. But eventually, the fear faded away, replaced by a sense of determination. I knew that I had to trust my instincts and be cautious of unexpected dangers. The road ahead was long and unpredictable, but I was determined to make it to my destination safe and sound.
Okay. Alright. Hey, look, check it out, man. Yeah, you go into some of these rest stops. Yeah, look, you run into homeless people here and there, man. Even at truck stops, wherever they can, dog, to use the restroom and all that stuff. And I don't think I've ever seen a homeless person living inside the restroom at a rest stop. You know, there are workers that have to go and clean it out every now and then. I'm sure they'll kick them out. But I have seen homeless people at rest stops, you know, washing up, doing what they need to do, things like that, man. I like how the homeless guy was just like, "Hey, man, I just needed somebody to talk to. That's why I lunged at you, grabbed you by your arm." It's like, "Nah, Charlie, homie, you're gonna listen to me." Yeah, dog. Look, rest stops, truck stops. Man, homie, you run into some pretty funny characters, homie. So, yeah, definitely be careful with all that. You know, especially certain times of the day and certain parts. Some of these little small ringy-dingy rest stops and all. There's a lot of shady stuff that goes down at these areas, man. So definitely, you know, be aware of your surroundings, homes, you know. Damn. But with that, I'll leave you guys with that one, familia. As always, live your life like you're on the road. Be aware of your surroundings and always keep a safe distance. Blood makes you live. Loyalty makes you family. Until next time, this is Ed the Total Trucker. Over and out.